And we've got a phone conference at 2:30 today, and then Jaime is coming in. When, Sharon, did he set up the board, request the boardroom for a meeting? In the USDA?
I mean, this month.
Yeah.
I think it's June.
Next week?
12th, yeah.
Yeah, June, so
This
so he's wanting to talk more about it.
That's Friday.
That's Friday.
No,
Yeah,
it's
well, let's
Tuesday.
face
It's
it
a
out,
farm.
Just the next
strange.
Well, it's brand new.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% certain what it, no, I don't think anybody
Let's
is
get
exactly.
100% certain what we're
16.
doing.
Yeah.
But the only thing that's good about the way it's structured is you submit a pre-proposal, which really just says you're interested. It doesn't commit you to anything, and I think that's what the deadline is, and so that's what we want, and we're sort of up against the wall on. And then, if they think that your regional plan meets enough of the criteria, that you have the ability, then you would become, get an invitation to submit a proposal. At that point, you could just say, we're not going to change our minds, we're not going to submit. I think at this point, we do, I don't think we need a resolution, but some indication that it's all right for the general manager in coordination with the Hudson District to submit a pre-proposal. So, for anything and everything that's related to water conservation, is that all right with you?
You all right with it, right?
That'd be all right then. No commitment, right?
There's no commitment.
You still need a resolution to make that.
I don't need a resolution. They're not
Because
as,
you're basically gonna find a little bit more about it,
yeah, I think we just, it's happening pretty quick here, and we don't wanna miss, there may be an opportunity to
Yeah.
be of value to all the farmers in the community. I know it's a bit different than the way we normally work.
Yeah, I like the program, the only thing that scares me is the administration. Are we gonna load ourselves down with more work with minimal benefits? It's not a concern. All right.
Okay, the last item, Mary and I have been meeting with staff on the budget for next year, and have been working on it. So we have intentions of, in the July meeting, giving you all some prelim numbers that you all can look at and see where our increases are. I know for one, Lisa was telling me this morning, briefing me on insurance. We have concerns about that going up. As you well know, I don't know if you all read or heard about Blue Cross Blue Shield in New Mexico went up 40% on them, and I think the numbers are more or less about the same, so we might be looking at maybe another insurance company for our insurance, health insurance for our employees. Everything else, there's some wish lists. Pete and Robert and Rose have some wish lists that we've been talking about, and we're not totally in agreement on. One thing that, a new idea that Pete and I have been talking about is, you know, last year we were able to go out and seek equipment and save a lot of money at these Ritchie Brothers auctions, and Pete and I have been talking about maybe asking you all for a certain amount of money in the next budget for the equipment that he's wanting, and then letting us, as the year goes by and the auctions come up, going to those auctions and maybe saving a lot of money that way. We were very successful with the backhoe and with the tractor, and so we want to look at that and propose it to you all.
Do you want a crane still?
No, that's Robert. I mean, that's Al.
Hey, we both want the crane, right?
We need it.
One good thing is,
You got a crane over your orders.
Yeah, no, that's a drag line.
I can use it as a crane.
Ditch Rider truck-wise, Robert's pretty content that with what we have, we can go a couple more years, so there won't be any increase there, but some of our dump trucks are getting up there with huge mileage and problems, so we wanted to, Pete and I wanted to look at that. But anyway, so we'll have that. Mary's working on it hard, and we're going to have a couple more meetings with staff, and then have it on the agenda for the July meeting.
Yeah, historically, we've done it two different ways on the budget because there's so much, especially in capital improvements. We have quite a bit of capital things that are essential that staff has identified and engineering's identified. So I think there's some critical items in the budget.
It won't be hard if y'all just keep the river running.
And we're trying.
We can end up the year with more water in the dam.
And it's been difficult to have, because those consume so much time, and we'd be glad to do it at the regular meeting, but we've had before workshops where we've had nothing but the budget on it. If you guys want to
No, that's a good idea, it really is, to, you know, the executive committee.
and then come back at that meeting where you, or the second look at it, and then it's much shorter, but we need to have a first workshop.
Yeah, it's very difficult to do.
So you guys can give us guidance on which way Mary should be, which department, what dates would be good for a workshop?
Someday in the
Advice
future,
right there.
you just have to call around and ask, I can't tell you.
Okay.
When y'all are ready, then we'll go from there for how to set up the meeting.
And that's all I had, unless you all have any questions.
Okay, district engineer.
The allocation, as Mr. Ray said, we've increased 168.68, which is great. I don't think we've been at numbers like that in a long time. And remember, I think we still have 20,000 held in reserve. We'll probably take that out of reserve because of the monsoon-like conditions we have right now. That's the number that's in there for excessive evaporation losses and other issues. And we're not seeing that type of season this year, so there'll be another 20,000 to allocate. And also, you guys remember, we're out of some of the clauses. Not only are we, it's sort of the best of both worlds, we're back under 400,000 on the compact, so that to release water from upstream reservoir, but we're actually over 400,000 in the allocation. There's another, it's two different 400,000s. One's has to do with diversions made on the river, another one has to do with water inflowing or stored in the reservoir. So they're apples and oranges, they just happen to be the same number, so we're actually, allocations are above that, and that triggers some, the D2 curve parameters that give us back compensation for groundwater pumping in New Mexico. So that's why we're seeing significantly better allocations to the district, because now, because of this increased water, part of that has to be used by EPAD to compensate for the groundwater pumping they did the last 3 or 4 years. So it's a win-win situation. They were able to pump groundwater, and now we're able to get our share of that depletions on the river back to us. So that's good. What I did was, we had the supplemental wells at about 24,000 acre feet as a contingency to get to our 2 acre feet. So I took that roughly 20,000 increase that we got, and I took it off the supplemental wells, saying that we weren't going to pump those to roughly save the $500,000. I think it's a little more than that, but anyways, that's a board decision, not mine, but we still left 4,000 acre feet in the supplemental wells because we use them for operational problems, that when we have irregular flows and we may be short in a given unit, we're able to make them up for a very short period of time until the water comes from the reservoir by running those wells. But we would like to minimize it for 2 reasons: money, as we said, and for water quality. So this basically increase of 20,000 gets redistributed, and we end up with the same allocation, 2 acre feet, no change, and with a slight excess there would be the potential for doing another 2-inch allocation sometime in the future.
But in a month, we'll have a little better idea.
Right. We're actually probably going to have an increase, so there is still a possibility of an increased allocation, but right now I recommend we keep it at 2 feet and accumulate some, redistribute the 20,000 that's held in reserve. There's probably another 2 inches for us. And then see about these inflows from the compact Article 4, or whichever article it is.
Right.
And that may be another 2 inches, so that would give us the possibility maybe next month or the month after, probably next month, we'll have to maybe have a
What you're
special.
gonna do is you need to do it next month.
6 additional
So
inches.
nobody will be able to use it, right?
Well, right now, we're looking at definitely running late in the season compared to what we've historically been able to run.
Has EBID changed their drop cutoff date, or?
The only thing we had was a discussion yesterday about if the monsoons continue, that they may be able to push to the 22nd of August.
It'll depend on what happens.
Yeah.
What is their date right now?
The 20.
Oh, no, it's the first.
I thought it was like,
And they extend 3 weeks.
wow, they're covering that. Okay, that'll help, that's a lot. Okay.
It'll depend on what happens up there at the dam.
Yeah.
Those guys don't run as well either.
No.
So there's no resolution regarding anything, there's no change in allocation, it's just a redistribution within the allocation, but the allocation to under contracts and under to the arable land remains the same, is what my recommendation is.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're all right up to this point.
And then we'll try to get everything done with the allocation committee prior to the board meeting, so that if we do make an increase in allocation, we do such at that time.
The only thing you need to correct is the small tract, it's 5 irrigations that we have right now.
Yeah, I got 5.
Dude, that's just.
Oops, oh, it's just, sorry. That's,
I'm sure you haven't done it.
that column up there is once we start getting, I haven't received any accounting yet for what we delivered. We haven't made that many deliveries. So at the end of June, I'll receive the numbers, and for that column, that's where we actually have delivered. So it's really not, how many well, that number may be only 3, it shouldn't really be 5. I'll just take it out for right now.
Okay.
That's a different, that's water already, that's how many irrigations we've already done with small tract, which we haven't done any, so it should be 0 right now, which it is. And, but the allocation side, this side of the spreadsheet over there is set at, that we've allocated 5 irrigations, we haven't delivered any small tracts yet.
We started today.
And as the numbers come in, we put those over at the other side, showing that we made those deliveries. Make sure, we pretty much treat your water just like we treat your money, it's a checking account. So, debits and credits.
It is money. All right. What else, Al?
Compact County, we talked about that. Third-party construction, district canals and drains, I'll let Jay give that update. I think I gave you the big update was on, I think we got all projects resolved except for the settling basin, and we've already talked about the settling basin. So I think we're done, aren't we?
Yeah, all the projects from Favens to Fox Plaza have all been completed, mostly in the Franklin Canal. They've all been successful. Water has run well. I had a couple of projects up in Borderland by Indars on the Leon East. Everything turned out well. No backups, water's flowing great, so just settling basin, yeah, that seems to be holding up well. All is good.
Everybody's out.
Here's some photos next month.
Railroad project's done, right, Pete?
Yes, sir.
So we're busy year. I think we set a record for construction. We did. So that's it on the, unless there's any question on third-party construction.
Okay. All right, Pedro, you're on. No crane.
No what?
No crane.
No crying? No, I did my crying.
No crying.
No crying, I'm
No
just saying.
crane either.
I was gonna say, I did my crying this morning before I came to work, so. Okay, well, just to let you know on some of the, things that are going on at this moment, I still got all the mowers out there, we're trying to catch up on the mowing, fell a little behind with, the rains, and I really thought that, with no water in the system, you know, weeds shouldn't grow, and it seems like they grow worse than we've got water in there.
And they're running through the concrete.
Exactly, yeah, so we got some problems out there, we're catching up in unit 7, we're just about done with 7B, and, in 7A, we should be, I'm hoping to be caught up by sometime late next week, before we put, one of the small tracks. Right now, I've got a couple of excavators stationed, on the riverside. I've got one of the I-Zeros that was moved up there this morning. And I have another one on the, right by the tail end of the Cincinnati Way, so one also on the riverside. Just trying to keep up with the weeds, that we've been mowing, on the riverside and some of the mowing that we did on the right bank of the riverside. The only problem is now that I've got all these weeds piled up on our ditch bank, so now I gotta go back and start picking those up. I just got a couple of pictures of some projects of the railroad. This one's the one Jay was speaking about up there on West Side Road by Indoors Place. This area here, we had to go in there and shotcrete it because the contractor went in there and open cut the east. So Jay turned around and sent him a bill for material and labor, I believe, right?
Correct.
And so we went in there and shotcreted about 100 feet of this canal. I'm hoping to do a little bit more once we get water out of here. But for now, we just wanted to pretty much concentrate on the area that was open cut. Next one, Jay. And then you'll see kind of what it looks like after we're done there.
So we didn't put a geofabric down on that one?
No, I believe we did, Al. Yes, we did. Yes, we had a crew working behind the shotcrete. Go to the next one, Jay.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
And this one here is the Newman lateral. This was part of the railroad. And what we did here is we shotcreted the Newman and tried to save some money on some of the head walls. Instead of going in there and installing head walls that would have taken more time and more money, we went in there and shotcreted the canal, and the customer that uses this canal was very happy with it. Keep going, Jay. This was one of our last ones. This is the Morning Glory here on the Clinton lateral. Here we had a little issue with the railroad not wanting us in their property. That little corner there belongs to Mr. Harvey Hilly, and he didn't want us going through his property, so I had to literally go in there and we had to build a box. You can see it right behind the turnout there, and make a 90 in order to stay in district property and then get back into railroad property to where the existing ditch was at. You know, they finally agreed to let us go back to where the ditch was at, and apparently we're gonna revisit this issue once they decide that they're gonna put the access roads in. But for the time being, at least now the farmer and the small tracks to water. That's kind of what it looks like. We've already built a grate that goes over the top of that, so that's been covered up. This is one of the last ones, Wallington lateral. This one here, I thought was going to be the easiest one, and it was probably one of the hardest ones that we had to do, but the end results came out real good. Those walls, we're looking at about 12-foot walls. And the transition, I mean, it came out, it almost seemed like we planned it that way. It was a real good turnout. You see what it looks like there.
What Pete's referring to is that the survey showing the location of the Gary pipeline was wrong. So we thought it was aligned a little better than it was, so we had a custom transition box, which.
Then we got a what is it, a 16-inch J that we've got there, a high-pressure gas line?
High pressure with 16 inch.
High-pressure gas line. So in a lot of these areas, we actually had to have the gas company present whenever we had equipment working within 10 feet of that line. So that just slows down the process and just kind of holds us back. This one here is a project that we did for the city of Socorro. This area here is right here by Old Potential. There's a school, an elementary school, on the left side of that screen there. And there's actually no sidewalks or nothing for these kids to walk on, so they were literally walking through the street and to get to school. So I discussed it with Mr. Reyes, and we agreed that it was a good idea to probably extend the pipe a little bit more. Now, the city of Socorro will reimburse us for all the cost of material, and they will be paying for this pipe. But we extended the pipe to where now we can at least put a sidewalk there for those kids whenever they're going to school.
And that's all gonna be paid by the city of Socorro?
Right. This one here, we're done with the upstream side. The downstream side, we've poured the floor already, and we need the weed walls on it. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and pull out of there until we can pretty much catch up on everything else that we got going with the water. And once I find a little tweaked window, I'll go back in there and finish it up. I've talked to the city of Socorro, and you know, they have no problem with the way it is right now. The road's open. It's covered up all the way to the end of the pipe there, so.
What road is that?
This is Old Potential. So, the downstream side, we'll complete it there, hopefully here within the next month or so. And, of course, never fails, it seems like whenever you got the most work, that's when we get most of the problems. And now that we're running water through these turnouts and flumes, we're finding a lot of flumes that are collapsing, we're finding flumes that are leaking. We just had a flume or a culvert that collapsed here at the tail end of Sanetti, here on Monday. And apparently, the tail end of Sanetti goes over the river drain, and the pipe underneath on the river drain has corroded, so water's leaking into the river drain through the river, and it's a riverside canal, so for now, we're just gonna patch it up and leave it alone till the end of water season. Then, once we get the water out of the riverside, we'll go in and replace that culvert. It's a drain that doesn't have, water other than the one that, the Wolfgate puts into it. And I've already coordinated with Robert, where Wolfgate won't be putting any water into that drain, so hopefully we won't run into any problems in there. And pretty much, other tweeds, weeds, guys, we're coming along.
Sounds good.
Is there any questions or any problems out there? Concerns?
Thank
You're
you.
doing a hell of a job, Pete.
Yeah, that's a good job. I've seen some of
Thank
those
you.
deals that you do on the side of the road tracks, and they're flowing water real good.
Yeah, it turned out better than what I expected, so.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, Pete. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Jack.
All right, it's 4 feet Robert in the room.
Yes.
He's hiding back there. Why are you hiding?
My nature now.
I feel like a gopher.
Water season's on, so you're hiding.
I feel like a gopher lately, running high. The return flow has been over, and you wanna compare 14 versus 15. Acre wise, there was 4,000 acres less than we watered this year compared to last year. I thought it was gonna be less, but.
Really?
Yeah, in 14 we watered 22,000 acres, this year we watered 18. The great amount difference there is the delivery wise. In 14 we delivered 684, this year is 538. A less irrigation was 150. 150 less delivery does upset quite a few people that were used to getting water, but it worked out pretty good toward the end. It's just the way we kind of handled it, was the way we.
With the construction caused a lot.
Yeah, but like I said, it takes 3 months to get everybody watered out, and eventually everybody will be watered out. Once we get the cotton people out of the way, most of the cotton people can get watered almost twice, and it just goes a lot faster. Just at the very beginning, pecans and cotton, pecans just take a lot longer. They're almost water 1 acre an hour, and later on in April and May, they start taking up to 2 to 3 acres an hour, which makes a difference. But we gone through it. Don't like it, it's real hard, but we get there with the 2 inches and we make it. We started allotment first of this month, and so far up to today, we watered at least 11,000 acres. And the crazy thing about it was 11,000 acres, we already delivered 450 deliveries out there, almost as many as return flow in 4 months. So now we're getting ready for the small tracks, like you said. We started up today. This kind of weekend is kind of the real. It's kind of hard because we got the small tracks right on top of us. We got the ceremony water we got to deliver this weekend, starting Friday. So it's a juggling act that we got to do with the ceremony water 50 feet on Friday, and then we cut it off on Saturday. When we need it the most for the small tracks, they've got to deliver it. So again, we'll manage it, we'll get through it. And then the other little monster is the little river, and it's starting to hopefully start to give us some water back. And I got with Al this morning on the river, and this morning.
Losses, are they better, different from last year or what?
It started like a monster did, and I was drinking a lot of water. It was drinking up to what, 1,200?
Yeah, it was, it took all the water for a week.
Yeah, it was taking 1,200 CFS a day.
Where the ratio, we did calculation yesterday for the allocation that we received, and the ratio is very similar, surprisingly, from what it was the year
last year.
There's more water in the system is why, so it makes up, the losses are greater, but the percentage, the ratio is the same. So,
So we took another
Wait a minute.
boost off it.
Excuse me, Robert. The losses are.
we had more water in the system. Last year, we started off at 2,600, this year, we started off at
Okay,
29.
more losses because you have more water.
The percentage of losses are about the same, but
Ratio is right, I got you.
the absolute amounts.
Excuse me, Robert, I didn't quite.
It's just the losses from the Sia Dam to El Paso were extremely high this year than in the past. We just couldn't get the water down here.
Did you cut all the suction hoses before?
And a lot of it has to do with the river, the bad condition that between Anthony and Country Club, it's just all silted up, all.
The river has a confining layer in it, like, you know, a lot of people know when our soils are under and our farms have one down this, but the river's got one, and so how the water moves out of the river is very proportional how deep the water is in it. So that if you can keep it in the flood channels flowing, you know, most of it flowing to one side, not get very deep, it runs pretty efficiently, but the minute you start filling everything in with sand and adding 2 feet of sand, it adds the water level up 2 feet and now pushes it out into that groundwater. Sort of like a canal. Canal doesn't leak too bad if the water level's not too high in the canal, but the minute you move up, it starts leaking a lot worse, and the river same way. So so those losses are being reflected. But overall, and since we have more water, it's compensating.
What do we hear from the Management Commission? Is there any plans to do that?
Well, we've been meeting with them, Robert and I had, every meeting we have with them, we mention the dredging of the river, we need to clean it up, and they've put together this big study that they've done. I mean, we could have told them where the problems are without that big study, but anyway.
Had to figure out where the sandwich comes from.
Yeah, they know there's a problem, there's concerns, and I think we'll finally this year, we'll see something done with it.
Well, I think there is at least some talk about it in their budget request. But, everybody's budget requests are.
You got a budget to study it.
Yeah.
I spent millions of it, but
I don't think they spent, maybe $500,000.
oh, yeah.
Sorry, Robert, go ahead.
No, it's all right, and so, but the river is like, last Saturday, we cut 100 feet off the boost, and it seems like it goes through, and then all of a sudden it doesn't drop, it comes up. So it's just the river's trying to gain its water back, so it's a careful one, but if we cut too much off of it, then we'll dry out down here, so we're being real careful. The one that worries the most is this weekend, because of small track ceremony water, and then to top it off, the acres have really dropped off.
Oh, yeah.
The acres have really dropped off. And the scary thing about it, when we first released water, I thought we were gonna need it, but trying to learn, like I was telling you, the pattern of the farmers, you know. Some of the farmers will go over 1,500 acres, but it turns out they only want one head. They wanna continue that one head because they're having labor shortage. They don't have the people to help them irrigate, and then if they irrigate too many acres, then they need 2 tractor drivers out there, so they're trying to. Once you learn that pattern of what the farmers are gonna do, you realize when they have 1,500 acres, well, you don't have to bring but 20 feet for them. You don't need 100 feet. So that's all our learning game. Like this weekend with the spawn track, there's only 1,000 acres to deliver to. So we gotta be careful. I gotta start cutting back somewhere to not have extra water on Sunday. And then for Monday, for the next week, you only got 3,000 acres. And we're down to the point where almost 1 ditch I can handle the 2 units. And then the following week, I think that's when the cotton's gonna come in and maybe shoot it up a little higher, but it's been rough to start off with because, like Pete says, some of the canals haven't had the water in there to introduce it to them, and it's been a little rough, but we got into the first week, not very successful, but we made it. And the acres are dropping off, and then I have to train 6 ditch riders, which is not easy either. That's been real rough. And
Don't worry about it,
and it's,
Oh, you got a dime?
I get them all.
We
Not
concentrate.
gonna help you.
That's okay, because there's no water down there.
That's right.
I never seen this group of, the 6 guys, and they got migraine headaches now when they see all this water, and like, I caught one yesterday behind a tree throwing, he said, you ain't seen nothing yet, guys. They never seen the experience of work that they're getting into. I said, like I told them, there's nothing pretty about running water, guys.
There's an art to it.
Yeah, you really gotta love it.
Yeah.
And, so,
It's a real
they're giving it a try, so. The crazy about it, Johnny, is one of the guys that's a ditch rider right now that I got him, I didn't even know, but his grandfather was Joe DeVetta.
I'll be darned.
Yeah. And then we interviewed one,
Wow.
it's the craziest thing, it tells you I've been here too long.
Was his daddy Joe Junior?
Huh?
They got his, Joe.
No, his mother is Joe DeVetta's daughter.
Oh, wow. I didn't know her, I knew Joe Junior. I'll be darned.
And that's the crazy part. And then we introduced some other one early in the year with, he was fell out of coma with his grandpa. I know I've been here too long. But it's going. It just, I think right now, like I told you this morning, we get to hang on to what the farmers are doing. And some of these guys, I thought they would pick up 2 heads, 3 heads at a time. They're not wanting it, they're staying with 1 head. And I think they're doing that for the tractor work. They don't wanna do a lot of work at the same time.
There's a timing thing too, Robert, if you've been off wells and it's takes you, 10 days to get this done, and when I get water out of the canal, I can do it in 2. You say, so pick a middle point, you're too early on this, and you're too late on that, So some of it's the transition from wells to the canal.
And like I said, like I talked to you this morning, Arnie, I always need to learn what you guys are doing because I only know my side of the fence.
Yeah.
It's important that I know what's going on.
Well, I got your phone number.
Okay. Same thing with Larry down there, If I don't know what you guys are doing, I don't know what I need to do. It helps.
That's the only way we know what all's planted and what the plan's gonna be. Yeah, you have to go do it the first time.
Anything else?
That's all. Keep up the good work.
Good work.
You get your water here pretty soon, then,
Maybe.
Okay.
Item 11.
I'd like to ask we could move these to executive session, please.
Okay. You can do that. Let's see what we have left to do. That number 12 down there, you want to do that before we go, or do we need to talk about that?
We're gonna talk about that in closed session.
Okay. All right, well, I don't see anything else to do, and we're not going into closed session, so Sharon at 9:49 a.m. Board will now go into closed session. Consider those items that are on the agenda.